Hey everybody, welcome to another episode short of Hometown History. I'm Jamie.
I'm Dami.
And we are at my house right now, so if you hear cars passing by, it's because I live off the main drag here up in Newberry town. So today we are going to talk about a woman named Mary Shaw Leader. So this episode's name for this short is Before Her Time, Mary Shaw Leader and the Hanover Spectator. We are talking about an area down in Hanover, which is in the southwest quadrant of the York County. And if you want to learn more, you can go to witnessingyork.com. We have an entire tab there just on the Heart of Hanover walking tour where you can learn more about it. So today,
Yes. Mary Shaw Leader, she was one of the first female reporters in Pennsylvania, and she was described as a very intelligent one, and she was helping the world to remember things with her journalism.
Super cool. Here to highlight some things that some women have done locally. Yep. So her dad was the one who started the newspaper company. His name was Scenery Leader, and it was called The Spectator, but we've also seen it be called the Hanover Spectator, and it was a weekly publication that came out. Dad's going to die in 1858. That is when Mary and her mom Maria take over.
Yes.
So the ladies are in charge. And then Maria ends up dying in 1875, but Mary keeps it going the whole way until 1892. She is 57 years old. Super cool.
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind that in the 1800s, that's when there was a huge newspaper boom. So in the 1830s, there were around 900 newspapers in the United States, and that's twice as many as there were in England. Most of them were weekly newspapers like The Spectator, but daily newspapers were growing by the mid-century, ranging in size and scope. So you have to start thinking about what would it be like if we didn't have Facebook, if we couldn't go live on Facebook and do these things, if you didn't have a breaking news page, if you didn't have your computer to look up the news, you didn't have your television. So you're getting everything from the newspaper, and the newspaper had these really cool articles where they would have advertisements for lost animals, or if you needed to buy property. There's no Zillow. So I mean, you were finding out your politics, you were finding out the local gossip, you were finding out what was for sale. Basically, it was the heart of the community.
I can't imagine not having a TV or a radio. Or a cell phone.
I know.
Or a computer.
It's like the most basic forms of communication that we take for granted today.
Yeah. So isolating.
It is very isolating, yeah.
Yep. So here are some of the things that they would have sold in the newspaper. I was able to find this on the Villanova's University archives, but they would post poems and then also short stories. So it really was, I mean, your go-to for everything in the community as well. So when Scenery Leader started The Spectator is in 1844, and America during this time period was largely decentralized. So we don't have the central government. We have the federal, we have the state, we have the local, even then down to the township, county. So everything's kind of separated, and that's why newspapers were so important. So each of these levels had their own different newspaper that would have been reporting on things. And so, of course, in the same edition of the newspaper that we're reporting on right now, here is some info on the federal level, but then also down to the local sheriff. That's like, fellow citizens, I'm running for the sheriff of York County. Like, vote for me. I mean, if it doesn't get any more local than that.
That's how you got the word out.
And it also makes me think about our founding fathers and the very first amendment to the Constitution.
Right.
And how they made sure to put in there that we have freedom of press.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, and so why do we have this? We have freedom of press because people are entitled to know what's going on.
Right.
Because, again, we didn't have, Facebook or TV or radio. So the newspaper was really everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's also, during this time period, a grow in industry and commercialization. So newspapers are going to have lots of advertisements. So, again, I found some advertisements in the newspaper like where to buy a farm.
Right.
Oh my gosh, 200 acres of land. I would kill for that now.
I couldn't imagine. I know.
I would love that. And then over on the right there, hardware and grocery store with a beautiful picture of an anvil. And then somebody lost a cow. So they were letting people know there's a stray cow around. And so if you see it, please let it know. They will be liberally rewarded for this stray cow.
There was no fine Toby back then. Well, you found a dog not that long ago, and you used Facebook to get it back home.
Yeah, that's exactly. I posted on, there's a dog going down the road, to Shreveport Road, and I posted it on Facebook, and someone said, hey, that's my neighbor's dog.
I know.
Like, oh my gosh, cool.
You would have had to go down to the newspaper. You would have had to find out how much money it would take to put it in the newspaper, and then like a week later, the poor puppy would have found
That's true. I had to pay for it too. Oh.
Yeah. It's free on Facebook. So that brings us back to Mary's business. So the business was right next to their home on 54 Frederick Street, and this is a picture of their house. So this was all in-house, and I mean, which I think is amazing. And we have to talk about the communications revolutions. So new technology during this time, there was the machine-made paper, there was steam railroads, electric telegraphs, steam-driven printing presses, and the rotary printing presses. You could print evenly over a large surface. Before, you were doing everything by hand, and things were uneven, it wasn't as crisp, and things were getting done more quickly and more frequently, and you had a higher circulation. Mary and her other family members helped with the reporting, the editing, the typesetting, printing, and distribution. So, I mean, this was a family affair. Oof. They did it all.
And that's why we wanted to highlight Mary Shaw Leader and all that she did, because, because she was a pioneer and she was a business owner, an entrepreneur.
Yes.
She was the editor. She was the writer. I mean, she really did it all, which is amazing. And so she broke through this glass ceiling because women weren't doing this in the 1800s.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So there's local legend that Mary, when Lincoln was giving the Gettysburg Address, walked 14 miles from Hanover to Gettysburg and reported it longhand, and was one of the first newspapers to actually write down verbatim what Lincoln said in his 3-minute speech.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just pretty cool.
I would do that too, Mary. I understand.
You are a Civil War nerd. Like, you genuinely love it.
If
like,
Abraham Lincoln was coming to town, I would be the first person there. I do.
That has not been verified. We don't know if Mary Shaw Leader actually did that. Jim McClure, who is our third hometown history person,
yes.
He has done a lot of research and hasn't been able to find it in the Hanover Spectator, but it's still a fun story, and maybe we can still uncover some truth going on in the future.
It is, and it's a cool story, even if it didn't happen. It's nice to think that she would be that dedicated to go there and report about it. And then, unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about her death. So Mary died extremely poor, and she outlived most of her family members. And then she was buried in an unmarked grave. So it's really sad, you know, because here we are honoring her today, but at the time of her death, you know, she was a little overlooked. So 28 years after her death in 1941, local effort to recognize all of her work was made by putting a memorial stone over her grave, and the Evening Sun covered it. And they said, the presence and activity of women in business and professional life today is a matter of course, a commonplace circumstance. That was not true in 1863. Especially in the field of journalism. An unusual set of conditions, however, put Mary Shaw Leader in a position of responsibility. She bravely took a man's place as a reporter on the Hanover newspaper, and that responsibility gave her a great opportunity. And of that opportunity, she made the most.
Yeah. And then later on, in the same Evening Sun, 1941, they said that the campaign will receive the wholehearted support of the community is undoubted. Every Hanover citizen will want to contribute to perpetuate the name and deeds of this pioneer girl reporter who lived in stirring times and was not afraid to tackle a man-sized job when it came to her way. She did her share to make the world long remember. I love that.
It is, and it's a shame that it happened after her death, but she finally got her flowers.
Yeah. Yep. So if you want to read more about Mary and then some other cool history things that are happening down in Hanover, go to Witnessing York. Up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see we have a tab specially for the Heart of Hanover Trail. And of course, more importantly, actually go there, walk around, see the signs. It's a really cool opportunity to engage in local history. And then tonight.
Yes. I'm really excited about tonight. We're going to be talking about Agnes. It's the 50th anniversary of Agnes. So we're going to be down at the Burning Bridge Tavern in Wrightsville tonight, and we're going to start promptly at 7.
And it is live in person. So come out and see us. We don't charge. Dami and I just love doing this. So please come learn more about local history. And if you can't come out and see us, we will be live on Retro York and Preserving the History of Newberry Town.
Yep. Can't wait.
Yeah. And if you want to learn more, go to our YouTube channel. We have lots more videos. Oh, side note. Today, 1 year ago, we filmed
our
first hometown history.
The dream team, a year old.
1 year.
Oh, that's so exciting.
That's so cool.
And we're still around. People are still watching us. It's amazing.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.